out where Daniel lives. Daniel's from Orlando, Florida. And we'd heard about this gentleman who's a RE/MAX person who's made a career, a nice career, out of really understanding how to handle social media. It's one of our hottest topics asked for. How do you know, we all see the Facebooks, we all see we did a selfie together, Daniel and I did. But how do you generate that in the business? That's really the key. And so Daniel Wilson is from RE/MAX Town Center in Orlando. He's built a nice six-figure income off of how to handle the social media. So without further ado, let's give him a big RE/MAX Mid-States welcome. Daniel Wilson.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Pleasure. Good morning, good morning. I'm going to pick up my other mic here and set it up. How's everybody doing? Great. Good. Who uses social media currently in their business? I hope everybody's hand goes up. Because in some way or another, you are using social media, you may just not know it. You're using the internet in your business, and we'll get into a little bit of what social media is and why, if you're using the internet, you are using social media. By a show of hands, how many people have been in the business over 10 years in real estate? What about 15? Keep your hands up. 20 years? 25? 30? More than 30 years, more than 35? More than 40? I see one. Anybody else more than 45 years? 50? 48? More than 47 years? So we got two people that have been in business for over 45 years in real estate. You know more over 45 years in real estate. You know that this is an over-changing revolution in how we've done business. Everything from the classified ads, advertising an open house, to now where it can be on Facebook, Instagram, and other different social media platforms. So what we're going to kind of talk about today is social media platforms, how to go over different platforms and the best tricks to get the most out of it for your money. But first, let's talk a little bit about me. Who am I? What gives me credibility to be up here and teaching you guys on social media? I'm going to use a little cheat sheet because I kind of forget what I put on here and what we're going over. So first off, I am from Orlando, Florida. A couple of things I've touched on or that's been touched on. I've built a six-figure real estate business in social media in about less than 4 years. I started in real estate about 7 years ago with the timeshare industry, and then shortly after that, I started my own business. So about 4 years ago, I really opened up business, and I didn't have any clients. A lot of you that have been in business for 10 plus years, 20 plus years, a lot of your business might be referrals. I didn't have any of that. So to go from nothing to a six-figure real estate business, I didn't even dream of it happening. I thought maybe, dabble here, maybe part-time. I went in full-time, realized that there was kind of a niche that wasn't being hit on, and that was farming social media. I really spend less on my social media marketing than most people do on the coffee of the year. I don't go in and spend thousands a month. I don't spend thousands a year. Probably less than $1,000 a year on social media platforms. I love sharing some of my tips and helping others with social media networking. It kind of comes natural. I do it in my sleep. I literally sometimes fall asleep marketing on social media platforms. So that's a little bit about me. Now, what I touched on a moment ago is you're all using social media. I'm going to contradict myself for just a moment. There's no such thing as social media. Everything is social media. Almost everything on the internet can be classified as social media. If you're on Yelp looking at a restaurant review, you can comment back and forth. You're being social, that's social media. If you're on the newspaper, the same thing. YouTube. Almost everything on the internet can be classified as social media. In some way or another, you can socialize it by sharing it, vice versa. It's a media platform. So I'm going to contradict myself just for a minute and say there's no such thing as social media, just to the fact that almost everything online is social media. So if you're not using social media, you really are, because you're online in some way or another. Let's get into it. Here's kind of another slide basically explaining if you're not using social media today in your business, it's only a matter of time before your colleagues steal your business. A lot of agents that have been in the business for 10, 20 plus years, you have a lot of referrals. But it's only a matter of time before your colleagues reach out to those clients that were referrals of yours and that were longtime clients and somehow persuade them to use them. Your business needs to be online. You need to be online marketing, you need to promote your business, collecting reviews online. Similar to the agents back 20 years ago, or even maybe 5 or 10 years ago, that were advertising their open houses on the newspaper or in the newspaper. If you weren't advertising in the newspaper, you weren't getting as much turnout at your open houses. You had to advertise in the newspaper your listings. So very similar to that. Here are some of the top social media platforms. By a show of hands, who has a Facebook business page? Good. Give yourselves a round of applause, because that's good. I do these in Orlando, and you'd be surprised with the technology and a lot of the stuff in Orlando. People are like, well, what's a Facebook business page? I have a Facebook personal, and they don't understand. Well, shouldn't that be if I have my own brokerage? No, not necessarily. You should have your own business page, planning you, because you are your own business. What about Instagram? Who has an account and uses it for business? Okay. You guys are going to get a lot out of that then, because I didn't see a lot of hands up. That's one of my main platforms. That's a platform I kind of thrive on. I currently have over 14,000 followers on Instagram. And it's funny, because when I got started in real estate, I have a colleague that does real estate. He's been in the business for 30 plus years. And I remember one day him coming into my office, and I was on my phone on Instagram, and he said, "You're wasting your time. Why don't you out door knocking? Why don't you out doing your own house? You're wasting your time. You're always on your phone." And we'd have discussions, we'd literally have meetings, and I would get a lead off Instagram, and so I'd look at my phone. And he would get so mad, and he'd get off your phone. And I'm like, it's similar to paying Zillow and getting a lead. You need to respond to it right away. Well, he didn't get that. He thought Instagram was, well, what a lot of people think Snapchat is right now. If you're on Snapchat, you're having fun. Not always. So everybody that didn't raise their hand, which was quite a few people, you're going to get a lot out of this presentation, because the platform that I probably use the most and get the most out of is Instagram. Who has a business set up on Yelp? That's really good. More than I expected. We're going to get into a little bit deeper on Yelp and why you should have your business set up. But Yelp currently is one of the better platforms for your business to come up on search engines. Unlike having it listed on Facebook, it's great because everybody uses Facebook. But when you search for real estate agents in near a city, your Facebook business usually doesn't pop up. Facebook isn't exactly the best friends with Google, if that's not already known. Who uses Snapchat? So this conference is going to go a little bit better if you do connect to the Wi-Fi in here. Pull up your Snapchat and take a Snapchat of me speaking, of yourselves, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but you'll see one of the newest marketing tools in Snapchat. Scroll through the filters. Take a Snapchat of yourself, scroll through the filters. Come and see me later, we'll take a Snapchat together. And I'll get into that in just a little bit more, but Snapchat, the platform that used to be for high schoolers, now can be used very successful to market your business at a very large event for not a whole lot of money. So let's get into it. Instagram. The people that have Instagram and use it successfully will probably already know this, but here's a screenshot of my Instagram account. The first thing you want to do with most all the platforms, but especially Instagram, is you want to create a bio. Your bio is going to basically tell your consumer who you are. It's going to have a brief description about you, and you don't want your client to have to find this. You want your name, why they should choose you over your competitor. You want contact information, and then you also, another option to do is you can cross-promote your social media platforms. So by using Instagram, if I have 14,000 followers there, and throughout the slides, you'll see my Facebook business page. I don't have 14,000 followers on Facebook. So by cross-promoting these, I want to promote my 14,000 followers on here to go to my other social media platforms. Not all of them will do that, but if I can get 100 every month to transform over to the social media platform that doesn't have as many followers, I'm winning. So here you'll see my Snapchat. Please feel free to add me. We'll Snapchat each other back and forth. It's amazing how many colleagues I've met in real estate. Some that have done business for so long, I've learned from them. I've taught them how to use Snapchat. They've taught me how to do things I never even knew existed in my 4 years in real estate. So there's mine, as you can see, very basic, very to the point. This is kind of like an elevator speech. It doesn't have to be long, just a short little paragraph there. I added some I think they're called emojis or whatever you want to call them there, but just to kind of liven it up. I didn't want it all text. You see the star, the question mark, the telephone, has a link to my website so people can easily click over there and get more information. That's really the first step. Kind of basic. This goes with all social media platforms, really. In bio, you want to keep it short, keep it classy, kind of make yourself stand out. In mine, it says consistent 5-star reviews. If you have one bad review and you have consistently 5, that's 2. I mean, unless you have all bad reviews, which you probably shouldn't be in the business. But most people don't. So you can, you can fabricate this just a little bit to make yourself sound better. That's what authors do in books. Completely normal. Also up at the top there, by the logo, you'll see my Instagram name, so you can follow along there. Please feel free to copy what I do. A lot of the stuff on my Instagram, you can kind of see how I'm using it. Copy it. It's been successful to me. I've learned from others in social media, classes and whatnot, and not necessarily in real estate, but. So taking us on to step 2. This is kind of a tip that you're busy. You guys are busy out showing homes. You're busy doing open houses. The last thing you want to do is have to come up with hashtags and come up with a bio and all that for each post. If you're doing open houses in primarily one neighborhood, let's say Kansas City's Homes neighborhood or whatever the neighborhood name is, you can create a short bio and copy and paste that. If you have Android, there's probably a note system. I have an Apple iPhone. Simply on the notes, you can see that I have 4, 5, 6 different notes here. The first one is kind of my bio, top producing Orlando real estate agent or realtor, and then I have a few other ones. Windermere, you'll notice the 4th one down, that's kind of like a higher end neighborhood in Orlando. So I just market to that. You can do this really with any kind of neighborhood or anything you're marketing. So yeah, basically just has what I copy and paste. This will save you some time because when you're taking posts, you can essentially just go to your notepads, copy that full note, paste it into Instagram, and upload your picture. You don't have to worry about typing anything out. And for the most part, if you're taking pictures of homes, neighborhoods, kitchens, and stuff like that, you can use a pretty general Instagram post. Everybody got that? Let's keep going. Next part is going to be adding a location. If you currently are posting on Instagram, I know a lot of you are, but are not adding a location to each post, you're really missing out on quite a big chunk of the opportunity that you have to market. Adding a location to each post will help you find different neighborhoods. If there's a neighborhood that's a higher end neighborhood, by posting pictures in that neighborhood and tagging that location, people that live in that neighborhood, people that may want to live in that neighborhood, or people that have visited the neighborhood, vice versa, they will look at that location and see what other people are posting there. If you have a post that's a beautiful kitchen, and down at the bottom you're branding yourself with, Kathy Banks, realtor, and they see that and they're looking to sell their home, who do you think they're going to call? The person that they have to find out of the yellow pages, or the person that was just there last week taking a post and posting it on Instagram? So add a location to each post. This is kind of the way to farm a neighborhood without actually sometimes being in the neighborhood. There's a few higher-end neighborhoods in Orlando And I was telling my colleague, Daniel Waldron here, we shoot ideas back and forth from each other, but last night I was saying, there's a lot of times when I'm not necessarily in that neighborhood and I'll update a post to Instagram. If you take a picture of a beautiful master bathroom, nobody knows that that master bathroom didn't come from that neighborhood, but didn't come from that condo development. Don't lie, but you can take a picture of a beautiful bathroom, tag the location of that condo building or the neighborhood that you want to market, and say, wouldn't you love this bathroom in your home? And then add your hashtags. And of course, brand yourself with your name, realtor, info, all that. If you want to have contact info, that's an option. Moving on. Am I going too fast for anybody? Keeping up? So the next step. This is kind of what I was talking about branding yourself. This home could almost be anywhere, unless there's a home, a neighborhood just full of historical homes, because it looks like it's kind of modern and new. You could add that location to this post for a lot of different neighborhoods that have new construction. Create ads that kind of stand out. The more vivid images stand out. Create original content. Here's one that I have, a perfect example. It states, the city that I'm trying to market in. My slogan is Orlando is your city. It can be turned many different ways. Orlando is our city. When we have different events, Orlando is your city. Let me help you make Orlando your city. Just a slogan that I use, so that's where that meaning comes from. Down at the bottom it has my name and essentially what I do as well. I have a low-cost graphic artist that will create about 20 of these per month at a very low cost. What does the tip say that? Hire a college intern. Other options that you have if you want these ads created. One, a lot of graphic design artists that are in college at your local university will do this for a very low cost. B, you can create these images on your phone. There's different apps that I'm going to show you a little bit later. Very easy to create these. Throw your text up there. The only thing that might be a little bit difficult is you finding the pictures. These pictures that I have, I don't pay for. My graphic artist pulls them off the online somewhere. The original content, I doubt any other real estate agent will have this picture. I don't have to worry about someone saying I'm using the property, and it brands me very well. So if anybody's interested in that contact, I'm happy to pass it along to you. But it's fairly easy to find a graphic artist that's kind of low cost. A lot of colleges offer these as internships and so on and so forth. This is a prime example of what I would be posting on my Instagram. Not every post. You probably want to take a picture of you out to dinner, maybe the next post, or you with a puppy. A lot of people like puppies. Something personable. You don't want to bland, buy a house at a time. But it worked for me for a little while. People will eventually get sick of that branding, so you got to make it personable so they know you as well. The next portion is researching hashtags. Similar to adding a location to each post, this is another way that you can actually target the market that you're going to be marketing in. So when you add a location to each post, people that are looking in that location can see those posts. Same thing with the hashtags. People that are looking under these hashtags, your target hashtags, because these are obviously not going to be yours, if they click on that hashtag, they can see what other people are posting using that hashtag. This shouldn't be too advanced for those that use Instagram. For those that don't, I'm also happy to provide any questions or answers afterwards and answer a little bit more in-depth questions. You want to research your hashtags and really target it to 30 that are the top hashtags that people are searching for that may find you. For instance, down at the bottom you'll see that I'm using RE/MAX R4. That's one of the big RE/MAX conferences. Can anybody tell me why I might do that?
Agent referrals.
Exactly, agent referrals. So the agents that are going to RE/MAX R4, they're using that hashtag. It's really not a widely used hashtag, only for a certain period of time. But I can guarantee you, when I go to RE/MAX R4, agents that I've never met, not even from the United States, are coming up to me and saying, "You're that guy on Instagram," and they're wanting pictures. And at first it was a little wild to me. I'm like, okay, you're wanting a picture, and I don't know who you are. But I realized I'm marketing to these people. And shortly after, they seeing all my posts and all that, it was only a matter of a few months before I was getting calls and, hey, this is David from China, and I have a referral for you. And I'm like, well, okay, that's amazing. I've been in this game less than a lot of my competitors that have better more reviews and bit more opportunity and education, all that in this business. How do you find me? And they're like, well, you're one of the top producing Orlando realtors. And I found you on Instagram. People believe what you put out there. Now, I am a top producing agent in Orlando, but I didn't used to be. I didn't even used to be an agent. And I got into this business and I really just thrived on farming the internet. I was told in real estate class, you have to farm a neighborhood. Well, back then, I lived in an apartment. I didn't really want to farm the amount of income that I spent on my apartment because I couldn't afford to buy a house. So I'm like, well, I can't farm that. I don't live in a Highland community. How can I farm these communities without getting kicked out of the gates? And I found the internet is kind of one of those ways where agents weren't farming the internet. They weren't farming the neighborhoods in the internet. And it was just a market that wasn't even touched. In fact, it's still really not touched today. Not like it could be. Moving on, here's a graph. Take a picture of this. This may help you. I'm happy to send the PowerPoint to you afterwards in a PDF format. Also, if you Google the best times to post on Instagram, you'll find 100 different pictures like this that tell you different times that are best to post on Instagram. As you can see to the side, kind of what I just said, but also think of when you're checking your Instagram. Think of when you're uploading pictures to Instagram. You're not, unless you're 1 out of a million, you're not any different than the other people that are using Instagram. If you're getting, you're wanting coffee and you're checking your Instagram, more than likely other people are getting their coffee and checking their Instagram as well. There is some science to this. It is courtesy of a site. I kind of stole it off of there. It's a social media help site, so feel free to go over there. But for the most part, if you're using your Instagram, probably somebody else is. You don't want to post at 3 a.m. Not a lot of people are up, and the people that are up may not be your target client for that $1 million house. Maybe they are, but Donald Trump. Another thing that I use for Instagram that is awake at 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. and lunchtime is an auto-liking program. This program essentially will auto-like the hashtags that people are uploading that are your target hashtags. So, when I first started this, or I don't know if I actually have that now, but if I were you and I was wanting to target to first-time home buyers, you may want to upload a hashtag first-time home buyers. This is an online site. You simply log in, you put in your Instagram information, and I don't get paid by this company. I just use it. Very cheap. It's $7 a month. So it's less than 1 coffee at Starbucks, depending on the size. You log into the site. You put in your target hashtags to this platform, and you can set a time that it'll start liking and a time that it'll stop liking the posts, or they can continuously run, meaning it doesn't start, it doesn't stop, it runs indefinitely. About 80 likes per hour. So that's 80 pictures that it will like per hour. I think that's 80 likes per hour, 60 per hour. Is it on Instagram? A lot of likes, basically. So when you're out showing a house with a client for an hour or two, you may have actually just liked, 120 or whatever pictures, and that will generate more followers on your Instagram. Other people will see that you're liking the posts, whether you're liking it or not, and they will come to your page, they'll see what you do, they'll click on your website, they'll follow you on other posts. It's such an easy thing. It's that kind of theory of Work smarter, not harder. That kind of goes back to this. And down at the bottom here, we have some easy instructions, but it's really just as simple as that. You log in. I think they even give you a free trial for 30 days or whatnot, see if you like it. I recommend putting in as many hashtags as you can. I have, I think, 25 pages of, I think it holds 20 hashtags per page. I have a lot in there. And that's kind of what helped me get 14,000 followers on Instagram. A tip, if you're going to use this, I recommend not using the hashtags that are so general, like Florida or United States. You want to target that market that is specific to you. So if you, and I've done this, and I've made these mistakes. You know, I wanted to target different foreign countries that we were getting a lot of business down in Orlando. And I noticed when I do it a little bit more specific to maybe a city that has a lot of wealth that is investing in Orlando or wherever your target market is, you get more quality content. So make sure that these hashtags here are very specific, and you'll get good followers. I have 14,000 followers, more than 14,000 followers, and I would say probably 1,000 or less are bad, like not, qualified or quality leads. Most of them are either living in Orlando, they vacationed in Orlando, or have some interest, but actually real people, they're not bots. So it works. There's a ton of other auto-linking softwares out there as well. If you just Google it, you'll find them. This one I found works really well. It doesn't kick you off Instagram, doesn't lock your account out too much, and so moving on, I want to take just about 5 minutes or so to answer any questions about Instagram. It doesn't have to be what we touched on. It can be anything at all, and we'll take about 5 minutes. Anything after this, just see me afterwards. Anyone? Yeah, go ahead.
You use Fiverr for graphics?
I have, it's funny, Daniel, you want to say? My colleague, Daniel, you want to tell him his story? No? Okay. He actually mentioned last night, he's like, you should mention Fiverr. I have, what I found with Fiverr is it doesn't produce this quality content because you're paying per post. So you're getting different content every time. What I recommend is staying consistent. So in all of my posts on Instagram that are branded like that, you'll always notice my logo up in the top, I believe left-hand corner. And it's the same consistency, same style font, that same style. So yes, you can use Fiverr. It'll probably cost you more on Fiverr. Yeah, stick with one designer if you could do that. But it'll probably cost you more to do that than just to reach out and find a. I know my graphic artist is less than Fiverr. For what she gives me 20 ads a month, and it's less than about the same as what you pay on Fiverr. Consistent. I get them automatically. I think every Sunday night through WhatsApp. She's in Canada, so yeah. Yep. Next. Yes. It's a great question. She asked, do I have a separate Instagram account for my personal use than I do my business? This is one of the things, too, when I first got into real estate. I mean, it's in sticks, but I was told by my colleagues you have to have separate accounts, and then some others said, no, you should have the same. I don't. I have one Instagram account. I have enough friends. I'm not really on social media to make new friends or whatnot, so social media to me kind of is my business. Like if I'm out at a restaurant, real estate is my business. If someone starts talking to me, it's going to get brought up somehow. So I have one Instagram account for both business and personal. People do business with you because they like you and they can relate to you somehow. So by answering that, I usually switch it up by the post. I'll post business related, and then I may be at Chuck E. Cheese with my niece, and I'll post a picture, and they can relate because they have kids. Or post with, if I had a puppy, I'd post a picture of that. People gets a lot of likes. But one account, just make it personable and not too much business. Nothing at 2 a.m. out drinking and being wasted either. You got to be professional about it. I've learned my lesson. Can I say that? Does that answer kind of? But there's many different theories based on who you ask. People will say, have 2 different accounts. I believe in having one account, keeping it professional like you would if you were out at a restaurant where you might bump into a client, but keeping it personable so they know you and they can kind of relate back to you and they'll do more business with you. Yes?
I have a question about Facebook.
Yep.
Right now, I'm managing a social media account for one of our Remax agents.
Sure.
And I just want to know what will be an advantage of having a Facebook profile friends page or a website page within Facebook, because there's 2 subtle differences. And what I've seen is that on my Facebook profile friends page,
Yep.
I get a lot of exposure because I have my friends there and
Of
my
course.
newsfeed and everything. But on my website page from my Facebook, I can see a little bit, but not as much.
You don't get as much exposure.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a Facebook personal account and then a Facebook business page.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to that. I'm only going to say that I'm going to hold off just a minute because we're going to go into Facebook and I'll talk to you about that just a little bit more. Remind me if I forget. I'm human too. But yeah, I'm going to hold off on that just a minute because the next portion that we're going to go into is Facebook. I don't exactly cover that exact topic, but I'll come back to it and kind of relate to why you should have probably both on there.
Okay. Thank you.
So next, any other questions before we go on? Yep, go ahead.
How do you track your results from Instagram?
You can actually do ads right now through Instagram, and you can track your results through there. Is a specific question, like how do I track leads that come in?
Track that you're actually getting dollars you're actually converting and making money off of Instagram. You know specifically what comes from Instagram, sellers versus buyers.
Yeah, I mean, I ask all my clients that call in how they found me. Generally, if they're following me, it's funny. Yes, actually, when I first started this, I'm like, wow, Instagram works. I was out with a client. He had already purchased one bank-owned as an investment. He was purchasing another home, and currently he has 2 really, really large commercial deals going on with me. And I was out with him and his wife showing him the second home, and I'm like, it dawned on me, I never asked him how he found me. And he's like, your business follows my business on Instagram, and they like my pictures. So I got his info, and well, I had his info, but I got his what business he owned and all that. And so later that night, I went back and looked at his Instagram account. I wasn't even following his Instagram account. Guess who was following it? The logo like. It was liking his business pictures, and because of that, he came to my page. He found me, called me, and he is one of the best clients I have right now. And it came from Instagram. So other than asking, that's really the ads will show how much exposure it gets, but pretty much it. Anything else really quick? Yep.
On RoboLike, when does it kick you off? Like I know Instagram and Twitter, if it goes too fast, it'll kick you out and freeze your account.
I want to say, and I don't have.
That's what I think is a big one.
Yes, and I want to say for Instagram it was 60 likes per hour. You can see how much I lead into these programs, it just works. But I believe it's 60 likes per hour, so it's 1 per minute, and it will allow you to like 1 per minute. Now, I also go onto my Instagram account, and I kind of use it for business. I'll go through my news feed with the scroll of all the people that I'm following, and I'll like those pictures too while I'm waiting for a drink at the bar, while I'm waiting for my dinner, or just getting my morning coffee. I'll like 100 pictures. So you can like more than 1 a minute, but the program will only do 1 a minute. I haven't had any issues with it kicking me off or locking me out.
Because I know if it comes too fast, they'll know
Yep.
it's bots and they'll freeze your account.
I think that's why it just does the 1 a minute. Yeah. Any other questions, just ask me afterwards. We're going to move on. Next platform is going to be the Facebook pages. The Facebook business page, I'm not going to cover the Facebook personal pages too much. There's a lot of theories to those and a lot of different ways you can kind of use that for business, but I want to touch on Facebook business page for a little bit. The first thing we're going to touch on is this even on the whole slide? Oh yeah, it is, definitely the whole thing. So set aside an hour or 2 each week and schedule posts. These can be posts of kitchens, these can be funny real estate memes. Keep in mind your page, you want to reach out to other agents. You want to reach out to home buyers and home sellers. So if you have a funny real estate meme that won't offend sellers or buyers, you're not talking bad about them, but if it's a funny meme, you can put it on there, and it'll generally a lot of engagement. So set aside about an hour or 2 a week, put your updates here. It can be blogs. If you want to write a blog, you can put it on there and schedule it for it to go out. Next couple of slides will talk about times to post on Facebook. But this allows you, if you're in the middle of a meeting with a client, and say the best time is at Saturday at 1 p.m., you don't have to say, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, I've got to step out and make that post on Facebook because this is the best time to post. You can schedule these. It really only, I pay a college intern, a Mulligan ad intern, no, I don't pay, they're unpaid. He gets a post credit. He comes into the office and he'll schedule like 100 posts in 4 hours, and that does it for the whole, that does a lot of posts, a month, 2 months of posts, and it takes him 4 hours. So if you set aside that time and kind of the blocking of the time, it's really easy to post quite a bit of content and post them at the correct times. I like to do a little bit different than the algorithm that we'll show in the next page. I like to post mine kind of in the morning and some in the evening. And then, so you can schedule these, you can actually even backdate them. And, oh yeah, here you'll see I have 55 scheduled posts to go out on my account. Very, very easy too, if maybe I didn't touch on that so well. You simply go to, if you're gonna write a status, and instead of just publishing it right there on the business page, similar to the post button on the personal page, you click on the arrow and you can schedule it. It'll bring up a window for the time, exactly the time, the date, and all that. So here is the algorithm on when the best time to post is. Saturday and Sundays between 12 and 1 are really well. Well, you're taking a picture now, so I have a link. There's many different theories to this as well. You may want to research the engagement times on Facebook a little bit more than you would the Instagram. Facebook's algorithm doesn't show your business posts as much during these off-peak times. So posting on Facebook during the best peak times and days really is a little bit more important at this time in the game than it is for Instagram. So take a picture of that, and I'm not going to touch too much on it as far as the time, as you can see there. But once again, you can Google, best times to post on Facebook, and you'll get 100 different answers. And it's like if you ask 2 real estate agents a price, it's going to be, or 2 appraisers, let's say, it's going to be different. Same thing. It should be about the same, but it is kind of a science to that. So moving on a little bit faster, I'm going to stop here. Back to your question about having a personal page and a business page. One of the things you can't do on a personal page is you can't boost or pay for the ads. So that's an advantage. You do generally have your friends see it a little bit more if you post it on your personal profile. It's not allowed, like depending on what you're posting, if it's a business post, it's not allowed on your personal page. Chances of them finding that or someone reporting it probably pretty slim, so you're still pretty good there. But the one thing that you can do with the Facebook business page is you can boost the posts. And you can actually do this when you schedule them too. So you don't have to worry about, I do mine, my science is kind of like I do $1 per post. It's really cheap. And I do a demographic of what I'm looking for. You can do net worth at a certain amount and higher. You can do zip code, you can narrow it down by quite a bit. By hitting like the boost button on the post, it doesn't give you as many options as if you went through the ad program, which is off to the left-hand side. It's Ads Manager, and you can narrow it down to like a pin, and it's pretty accurate too. You'll get occasionally one or two times a bot that's not accurate, but for the most part, it's really accurate, and your money is well spent. Versus putting an ad in a newspaper, you can't really choose who sees that. So here's one of the easier options to boost the post. You can choose some simple setup here. There's also an option to just, I think it's underneath behind that, to choose just your friends of the page, or the people that like the page, and your friends. But once you set up your business page and you're cross-promoting it, which is a little bit more in depth, but if you cross-promote it on your personal page, you can get most of your friends over there, and they should see it for the most part. And especially for the open houses. This is amazing. Post an event through your business page of an open house, put a really nice image on there and say, everybody that says they're attending on this event will be entered into, $250 wine basket. You don't even have to come to the event, just like the page and say you're going to the event. You'll be entered anyways, and if you come to the open house, we'll throw in another entry for you. So that's a little bit more way to get some lights up. But boosting is definitely good. You really don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. You don't have to go into Ads Manager. One of the easiest ways is just boosting it to people that like the page. And then if you want to nail it down by, say, a certain zip code, a Highland zip code, vice versa, you can. I don't think I actually boosted the one I took a screenshot to, but it got 168 people reach. Another way on your personal page, too, is by getting more likes. You can actually like the posts on your business page from your personal page. By doing that in the evening, like 6 to 8 p.m., it will show up in your friend's newsfeed again. So by liking and commenting, it'll show up more. So do that in the evening. Don't do that in the morning when all the fresh content's going out. Do that in the evening and make sure you like it from your personal page, not the business page. It'll get part of it. One of the, I would say new, but it's not really that new, options is going live. Has anybody done the going live option? What was the result? What did you use it for first? Go back up.
Open house.
Okay, so look at that. Look at the example. So open house. Did you do it from a personal page or a business page?
Personal.
So you got a lot of engagement then. Okay. So any leads, anything? Was it a positive experience?
It was definitely a positive experience. I'm a newer agent, and so I think it's just helping bring more exposure that I'm a real estate agent now.
Do you have a business page?
Not currently.
Okay.
I am working on building my friend page more until
Okay.
I establish the business page.
Sure. Set up a business page
Okay.
right away, because how many friends do you have? Do you know?
Oh, like a little over 1,000, I think.
Repeat the question, please, because I think everybody couldn't hear.
Oh, sure. So the question originally was going live. Has anybody done it? And she said that she did. She went live from the Facebook page, from the personal page. She doesn't have a business page yet. She's kind of growing her followers on the personal page. What I'm recommending is set up a business page even when you have a low amount of friends or you haven't really built that friends profile yet, because as you gain those friends on your personal page, you can invite them over to your business page. So if it's actually, you're probably better than if you had a lot of friends and now you're setting up a business page. If you do it at the same time, you can kind of cross promote and build them both at the same time.
Okay.
So, awesome. Good. So going live. So let's say you did have an existing friends page and you had 1,000 friends or whatnot. If you have a business page, even though you'll get more exposure by going live on your personal page at the first, go live on your business page. Then, so say you have an iPhone going live, have a laptop with you as well. Go live from your business page, showing it off an open house, and then while you're live, just simply log into your computer and whatnot and share that on your personal page. Say, look, we have an open house today, go follow it, whatever, just share it on your personal page. That'll get you more viewers, and the viewers that come from your personal page to your business page to view that, a lot of them will like your business page. So that's a way to get more of your friends onto your business page by kind of cross-promoting there. It's fairly simple. Going live, if either from a personal account or a business account, you would simply hit the publish or the post button. It's now called publish, but I think it's called post before. The little live button down at the bottom, and then you type in a description and hit go live. I do it a little bit differently. On step 2, I'll put in the description, and then you can actually tag different places. So say if I'm doing an open house in a certain city, I'll put open house on 123 Smith Street, and then I'll do a little @ sign and tag the location of the open house, the city or the neighborhood or whatnot. Before I go, any questions about this? Like any quick questions I can answer, because I know it's kind of a little bit in depth. Good? Back to the personal page, just a little bit. back to hiring a graphic artist or creating the content yourself very easily. One of the easiest ways to market is by wishing people happy birthday. I've gotten some upload on this too. Maybe 1 out of 100 birthdays that I wish someone a happy birthday, 1 out of 100, they'll make a, not a sarcastic, but it's kind of a goofy comment. Oh, nice way to promote yourself. It's always in a joking manner, no one takes offense to it. Heck, you remember the birthday. You're better than probably half of them that didn't wish them a happy birthday on Facebook. So, create an app that has, mostly the content is happy birthday and, celebrating the day. But just mention yourself down at the bottom. I mean, when you post on Facebook, it has your name anyway, so why don't you just put the name in the post? Make this kind of a daily task. The different algorithm in this is a lot of people will post happy birthday when they wake up to the, when they wake up, they'll post happy birthday to their friends because they're just seeing it. I like to do it in the evening because a lot of people that are going to say happy birthday to that person, have already done so. So if you post it in the evening, your post will maybe show up a little bit fresher and whatnot. The opposite, if you post it in the morning and it gets a lot of likes, it'll show up more as well. So different ways you want to do this, but make it a daily task. It's a little time consuming. If you have a lot of friends on Facebook, you may have 10 or 12 birthdays a day. If you don't, you should have, have a little bit less, but everybody on that person's page, a lot of people will see that. The person will see that. It's just a really good way to kind of make them feel special and promote yourself. It's back to the old days when you used to be able to send out a happy birthday card to them. Kind of similar, but some may find it tacky. I don't. I think it's a great way to promote yourself as well as remember the person's birthday. And questions? Any questions about Facebook personal page, business page? Yep.
When you decide to boost your post from the business page, do you find it more successful to share it just with your friends and friends of your friends or to a general demographic?
Great question. Depends on the post. I have a lot of friends that are real estate agents. So if I post a funny meme that's more of a real estate, if they're making fun of a mortgage specialist or, even a real estate agent, the house is on a cliff, it needs to sell fast, something like that, I will generally share it I will boost it to my friends and the people that like the page because more than likely they're going to be more real estate agents that will see it. If I have a new listing in a certain community, I'm going to make sure that I market it just to that community, not necessarily my friends and people that like the page, because there may only be 1 or 2 people that are on my friends list that live in that neighborhood. Does that answer kind of the question? And it just depends on the post. Yep.
On that light, once you boost that page from the business page, and you share that on your personal page, then all your friends will have access to see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the question was, when you are going live on your Facebook business page and you share it to your personal page, all your friends on your personal page will see that live. It's just a great way to cross-promote. It does take a little bit of effort. You obviously have to have a phone or something recording the live, and then you have to have a laptop. If you have an associate or work with a team, it's really easy to do by sharing that and whatnot. But yeah, they all see that. And then afterwards, after you've went live, by doing it on your business page, you can boost that live. So if you're doing a new open house or whatever it is, record the live, you'll get maybe 200 views or whatever the case is. And then after it's over with, a live video currently on Facebook shows up just a little bit more than if you were to take a video and post it. So it gets a lot of good exposure. The boost goes really well on it, and just overall good. But I would do it that way instead of just doing it on your personal account, because at first, the results are amazing. You get a lot more engagement versus on your business. You might not get as many viewers, but forget about that. You're really about the business, not who's viewing it at that moment. Any other questions? Facebook at all? Yeah, go ahead.
On Facebook, what's a good method to increase your likes on your business page? Because I built my business page, I built it to about 300 likes, and then it's stumbled for the last about 9 months between 300 and 374, and I can't seem to push it past that point.
Great question. So the question is, how do you build your followers on your business page? He's got about 300. He had about 300 likes, and from the 300 to maybe the 400 mark, it's taken quite a bit of time to get that. Now, when you created the business page, you probably went on and invited all your friends.
Yes.
And so 300 of those people liked all your friends. That love you. And they're like, how many friends do you have on Facebook?
About 500.
Okay, so that's about right. That's really good, actually. That's a really good turnout. If you have more than 300 liked it, and you have 500 friends or so, that's amazing. All your friends, for the most part, love you and want to support you. So, what I would recommend is a couple of ways about doing this. Do you work in a team? Or do you have? Okay, just yourself. So there's a couple of ways. You can do ads on Facebook. You can boost posts, and that will get likes. You can actually go through Facebook and create an ad campaign just to get likes. What I've found is that's a little costly. It does get costly to get more likes, and sometimes they're not the best. Daniel, do you have anything to add to get more likes? Because I have a couple tips, but they're not probably what I would want to share up. Boosting, posting. Well, I'm going to show it. I'm going to get this up anyways. If you work as part of a team, like for instance myself, I have newer real estate agents come on and I mentor them and yada. What I have them do is I have them go through those friends and invite all those friends to that page. Also, I've had clients before that I have offered, I'd love a referral. Let me help you, in different ways or whatever you want to say, and have them invite some of their closest friends. That's the easy, by getting other people to invite their friends to that business page. That's a little bit more organic, probably a little bit more of a targeted market, and a whole lot less expensive. So the more people you can get to invite friends to your page, that's really good. You can also do promotions. But anything else you'd add? Lots of hashtags, checking in. One other tip that's kind of cool too is the Facebook business page. You can actually find that business page like other businesses. So I get some likes from that way because I'll go onto the businesses in Orlando that are well known, and some of the posts they'll post don't have a lot of comments. So I'll comment from my business page, like this is a great idea, whatever the thing is. And the people that they say they have, 20,000 likes on that business page, more people will see the post and then they'll go to your page. So that's an option. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you re-invite people to like your business page that you've invited and maybe they didn't see it or went on past it?
You used to be able to. You're shaking your head. Lately I have not seen that option. Because lately I haven't seen that. There may be a secret that I don't know, but lately I haven't seen that option. Once you've invited them, it says invited.
Right.
Now, I know that a while ago, there used to be, I invited them, and I want to say it was like 3 or 4 months you could re-invite them. I think that's changed. You can't re-invite them unless there's a secret that I don't know about. You used to be able to, but I believe they changed it to where you can't. Yep.
I was just going to add to her question that I believe that now you can actually invite them through Messenger. So you can, I believe so. If not doing that, through an event.
How are we on time, Dan?
Can't hear her at all. So.
And also have a question. Sorry.
So you think that there is a way to invite them through a messenger?
Yeah. So if you send invites through the Messenger, so everybody has a Messenger on Facebook.
Yep.
If you invite, I believe there's a message.
There may be a tip to a secret to it that is a way around it. That's usually the case. They try to fix something and then there's a way around kind of inviting them. So I haven't found that way, so if you find it, let me know. Shoot me an email.
And I also have a question. I've also
Yep.
tried.
Steve's got a mic for you right there.
Oh, thank you. I've also tried to share my post on groups.
Okay, yep. Yeah, that's right.
If that works. I know that sometimes if they are not related exactly to what you want, that actually also works. But have you tried it? Does that work for you?
I have. It is actually really good, kind of a tip to do that. What I've found by sharing in groups is you do have to be careful because a lot of, I mean, from finance to cause sales to everything else, everybody's kind of sharing to the group to get more business. So you have to be careful that you're not overstepping your boundaries by trying to sell. But it is successful if you, sometimes you can do it a little bit different. Like, you know, I'm having an open house and we're giving away Thanksgiving turkeys if anybody in the neighborhood or, you know, the community wants to come and have a, you know, get a turkey for it. I'd love, and that's kind of a way that, to promote yourself without really saying, does anybody want to buy this house? Any more questions? We'll answer them afterwards. I want to keep, go ahead. You bet.
I was just going to ask, is there anything that you do in that marketplace? And I'm not really sure what it is, but the marketplace area, I just heard someone talking about it the other day.
I don't know. I don't touch it.
Hey, Daniel?
Yep.
Most of the room cannot hear the question. Just
Okay.
always repeat the
Oh,
question.
sure. So she was asking anything about the Facebook marketplace. If there's anything I do in there, I don't. I don't use the marketplace too much. Do you know? I haven't explored that. I'm sure it could be a possibility. And some people could. But any more questions? I'll ask them afterwards. That, for the most part, the Instagram and the Facebook was a big chunk that I wanted to go through. So definitely ask any more questions you have afterwards. The next platform is Snapchat. I didn't get on this for a while, and this was something that I kind of thought of as like a high school thing or a young thing. And it took me a while to get on it. But Snapchat's a really good platform. It's really good to market to your sphere that you already have. The content that you post on there generally is viewed. Whereas a Facebook post, you may not, people may unfollow you, may see it, but if they're following you on Snapchat, they're generally going to look at your story, they're going to look at your videos, and whatnot. So the one thing about Snapchat I try to do a little bit different than Instagram and Facebook is I like it to tell a story or to be intriguing. I don't want it to be the same content. I don't want it to be the same picture of the kitchen or the ad or anything. So what I do is I use my Snapchat a little bit more behind the scenes. I've used it in different theories. Say you're doing an open house. Instead of just taking a picture of open house here, lead a story up to it. So when you're getting the balloons at the supermarket, snap a picture of the person blowing up the balloons, getting the balloons preparing for the open house. I'd love it for you to come. Then the next post maybe will be you putting out the signs. Tell that story leading up to it. Make it kind of something that they want to follow. They want to see the next step that you're going to do, so they're interested in it. Same thing with writing a contract or meeting a new client. If you're meeting a new client, you can do getting ready to meet a new client. I just had a phone consultation with them, tell a little 10-second story, and then when the client comes into the office, have a coffee sitting on the table, waiting for that client, and then you can, however you want to tell that story, make it intriguing. But it's really good to really kind of market to your sphere, let them know that you're still doing real estate, and all that. So, moving on. The hottest thing with Snapchat right now is creating a geo-filter. If you've connected to the internet, the Wi-Fi in here, and you have Snapchat, if you pull it out, if you went through the geo-filters, you'll see I have a geo-filter for this conference. This is one of the best ways, and fairly still inexpensive ways, real estate agents can use Snapchat to market. Very good for first-time homebuyers, very good for millennials, and I mean good for people that are using technology. I know many people that have been in business in real estate for 25, 30 years and they're using Snapchat. If there's a community event, a farmer's market, create a geo-filter that says, we love giving back to the community, and brand it yourself, or however you want to brand it, have your name and all that in it. You simply go onto Snapchat's website, you upload the geo-filter that you want to have, or you can use one of the templates and kind of plug and play your name and all that. Graphic artists can also put this together for fairly inexpensive. It's not that difficult to do. So go on, map the area that you want to target, the dates and the times, and submit it. There's a couple of rules here. You can't use copyrights or anything like that in there. You can't use a picture of yourself. So create an emoji. And maybe you'll see in my Snapchat filter, if you have it, it's not a picture of me, it's an emoji. And it can't cover up too much of the picture. It's very inexpensive. For this whole event, I want to say it cost me less than $20 to have the geo-filter running all day. So if you're doing an open house, you're going to spend $20 on mimosas or whatever. Create the geo-filter, the people that are coming in, ask them to take a picture, and they get another entry into that wine basket, or whatever, if they are using Snapchat. A very effective way to use Instagram. It's one of the best ways right now for real estate agents. And this is the next, this is the Instagram. This is, everybody was on, I'm not going to get a Facebook page, you got it. You're not going to get an Instagram page, you got it. If you don't have Snapchat, get it. It's a really good way to market. Then you'll see mine if you don't have Snapchat. This is my geo filter. The picture that you would take goes behind that, and then all the other stuff is in front of it. College intern or a college student could probably make something that would look 1,000,000 times better than this in probably about 20 minutes to an hour. This took me just a few minutes on the flight out here. It wasn't anything that I put a lot of effort into it. I actually just wanted to keep it simple. I created it myself from a template that Snapchat had. It was very easy. I branded it kind of myself, put in a couple little signs there, and shebang. Questions on Snapchat? I didn't cover as much on the other as I did on the other platforms, but go ahead if you have any questions. How many people are using Snapchat again? Okay. So there's a lot of people that are not using Snapchat. I would recommend getting on it. It's a really good marketing tool. It's a really good way to market to the sphere that you have. Question?
Do you recommend a tag name that's better than others, even if it mixes with Facebook and all the other ones? Like yours is sold in Orlando, and I've seen your other one for the others are different.
Yeah, on Snapchat, I don't think that's as important, Daniel. Yeah, it's not as important to have kind of a tag name there. I guess it depends on who you ask. I don't think so. It's more important the content that you share. People don't want to see the same crap they see all over the other place. Go behind the scenes, make it intriguing. If you're at a house and there's a snake that's on the ground, grab your Snapchat, post that video of the snake on the Snapchat. What's that? I hope you don't have rattlesnakes, but it was something fun. And something that you wouldn't see on the other platforms. Not just a picture of the kitchen, not just, tell a story and lead up to it. I don't think the name has all that much to do with it at all. Yeah, you're pulling from your phone contacts and all that, but cross-promote this. Snapchat is one of the kind of newer platforms that are not a lot of people are on, not as many people as Instagram, so promote your Snapchat and get going, because you can actually see who views the stories, and it's funny, the people that I have friends on Snapchat that I really haven't talked to in years, and they're watching every single video that I post, so it's really good.
Hey.
Yep.
Without the ability to really search for a specific name in Snapchat, unless you have the code,
yep.
How do you cross-promote from Facebook, Instagram, or whatever the platform is to drive traffic to your Snapchat?
Great question. You can actually download, that's my Snap code. So if you want to take a picture of it, you could add me, or by that name. If you go to my Facebook page right now, I want to say my profile picture is still my Snap code. By doing it there, I also post it on Instagram. I have 14,000 followers there. So I post it there and say, hey, go add me on Snapchat. I just seen this amazing monster in the backyard. And so people will go there because they want to see, what did he see? And it's a snake. So that's one way that I use it, kind of lead them on and get them over there. And then just, people that are coming to an open house or clients or friends, hey, do you have Snapchat? Kind of like the question, do you have Facebook? When there's different speakers that I'll go up to and say, hey, can I add you on Facebook? I want to see the content. Same thing, have it as part of your conversation. Anything else? Who's excited about geofilters and who's actually going to do it? Like, this is something you need to start doing today. It is, especially for a house that you're having open, if you know you're going to have, the broker's open. Do it. You'll get so much promoting. It's amazing. It's one of the best tools for this whole conference area. I think it was less than $20, and it's amazing. It's so inexpensive and really kind of makes you feel good about yourself too, because you're on the filter. So We're almost to the end, so not much more. Hang in there. One thing I want to touch on is Yelp. I'm not going to go over all the social media platforms. I think this is the last one. Yelp is a really good platform to ask for reviews on. They show up on search engines very well. Zillow, you want reviews on there because when people are searching for homes, they'll see your reviews and all that. The good thing about Yelp is by getting, if you can get 10 or 14 reviews on there, you show up in search engines that you would never imagine. The SEO on Yelp is amazing. The search engine optimization, if you didn't know what that is. There's some of the pictures I shared, but they don't have to be branded. You could post anything that's professional on Yelp. The one important thing, when you're uploading to Yelp, each picture can have I think it's a title section, and it's just a few words. Use SEO keywords. Most of the people that are looking at a business won't really look at that title, so it doesn't have to make too much sense. Do I have an example? Yeah, best Kansas City real estate agent Betty Smith. Doesn't mean you're the best, but people that are typing into Google and Yahoo and other search engines, best real estate agent in Kansas City, that name is going to pop up, and it does. You can literally go to Google and type in best Orlando real estate agent and go to images, and a ton of Yelp images will be on there, and it'll be me. And also, if you have an iPhone, one of the tools that Siri uses to recommend businesses to the consumer is Yelp. So I think I have 15, 16 reviews on Yelp, not as many as some of the other agents that have done this for longer than I have in Orlando. But if I'm in downtown Orlando and I push on Siri and say, who's the best Orlando realtor? I'm, I think, second right now. Other than that, there's a real estate school that pops up. But I'm the second that pops up on Siri. How many consumers are going to do this? Probably not a lot. Who's going to look for a real estate agent on Siri? But it's just another tool. You show up so much more on search engines by doing that. Tip with Yelp, don't ask for reviews from people that don't use Yelp. If they don't have a Yelp account and they don't actively use it, meaning they haven't left a review before, that review won't show up. Yelp is very specific that it wants the users to be active users. They can't sign up for a new account like they could with Zillow and leave a review. If they've never used Yelp, don't ask them for a Yelp review, ask them for a Zillow review. Pretty much what we just talked about, I think. Skipped ahead a little bit, but same thing, just going over the reviews. It's a really good place to get that, and I won't talk too much more about it. A lot of real estate agents don't use it either. It's kind of one of the untouched secrets. Questions on Yelp? Yep.
On any of these Snapchat, Yelp, Facebook page, if you reuse the same pictures, does the search engines not get you higher on Google if they recognize that picture is being reused, or do you have to use unique photography each time?
So the question is, using the same picture on different platforms, will that get you higher in the search results? Did I understand that correctly? Okay. So, not really, to my knowledge. By posting, because Facebook, if you're posting it on, say, Facebook and Google are not really that close of friends. As well as Facebook really isn't the best for search engine optimization and all that. It's kind of a social network in itself. A lot of stuff doesn't go out to the search engines. So you can post that picture on Facebook, on Yelp, on your Google business account, and other places. I would post it everywhere. But I don't think it gets you higher. I think by posting it, in different places, it may get you different, out in different search engines. But it necessarily won't boost. If you post it in 5 social media networks, or, places, it's not going to bring that picture from page 10 to page 1. Anything else? Yes.
Besides Yelp, what do you feel is the best place for your clients to leave feedback? There's a lot of places they can leave it on the internet. What's going to give you the best exposure for folks to see?
It's funny, we have Zillow, I think, in here, right? Zillow. It really is. And this is actually from Chris Smith, one of the really good real estate social networkers here. But Chris Smith mentioned this to me as well, but it really is Zillow. Home buyers and sellers are on Zillow. So you want a really good base of reviews on Zillow, because most of the people that are going to be buying or selling a home are on Zillow at some point in time. You want to make sure that you're credible. So the first place that I would ask for reviews is Zillow, and then go down from there. If you have a client that uses Yelp and you somehow ask that, I would love a review. Are you on Yelp? No, okay. Who else into the Zillow thing? If they're on Yelp and they use it a lot, get that one on Yelp. But for the most part, get the Zillow. I usually get most of my clients to leave me 2 reviews. I'll ask for a review a couple days after the closing, and then I'll send maybe a thank you gift card or something, some sort of appreciation, thanks in a month, and say, hey, I forgot to do that Zillow review. I forgot to mention that. What'd you do? You can usually get 2 out of them. Anything else before we move on? Some recommended apps. We're almost finished. This is one of the last slides. Here's some apps that I use. There's a ton more apps. This is just touches on some of the ones I use. Obviously, if you're going to have a Facebook business, you want the Facebook pages. You can take a picture of this if you want. It might help you. Yelp Business. If you're going to have a Yelp business, you want the Yelp Business app because the faster you respond to messages that come in, the higher you'll show up on Yelp Business. So I have kind of automatic response that I've copied in my notepad on my iPhone. If somebody messages me at midnight and I'm awake, I don't want to respond and get that conversation going. It's kind of I want to set an example of, we have business hours, but I will send that automatic reply of, we appreciate your message, we'll get back to you within 24 hours, and if you have any direct questions, please contact us here, whatever your message is. But you want to have the Yelp app so that way you get that notification on your phone right away. Instagram, obviously. Google My Business is kind of similar to Yelp. That's why I didn't touch on it too much at all. Yelp and Google Business, the same advice kind of goes for the same thing. You can add pictures to Google My Business, and they show up amazing on the Google search result. And same thing with the reviews on there. They're really good with search engines. Canva is a graphic design app. Daniel Walden, my associate, uses this a little bit more than I do. He does kind of his own, but you can literally make the same ads I do. You just got to find the pictures and take a little bit of time to do it. Snapchat, that's kind of self-explanatory. Download that. And then Camera Plus, this is just a photo editing app. It's able to turn the photo kind of HDR or high definition. You can turn the saturation up or whatever you want. This is only for iPhone, so if you have Android, just find another camera editing app that works well, that you like. And out of the, you may not like Canva, you may not like Camera Plus, just find one that works well for you. And then have YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. YouTube is a platform I didn't touch on, but start doing YouTube videos, uploading them. You can upload them directly from your phone. Really good site as well. And that is all. Please follow me on the social media platforms. I don't think the logo is aligned there, but follow me on the social media platforms. I'm happy to provide weekly coaching. If you have a question, always love networking with other agents and assisting. Really, that's kind of that's why I love doing this business is someone that, I've been helped so much by real estate professionals, and now I'm able to give back just a little bit. So let me know if there's any questions you have afterwards. My contact info is up there. I would be happy to talk to you on a weekly basis.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.